I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and this is Oracle Live TV. So I am really excited tonight. We have a great guest coming on very soon. And if you haven't watched the show before and you're watching from a watch party, please be sure to jump in and click on the link below the watch party if you see one. That gives you access into the room. And the beauty of being in the room, aside from us being able to see and hear who's here, we'll be able to answer any questions you have. So if you haven't watched the show, let me tell you a little bit about myself and what we're doing here in the show. So I have been an Oracle since I was 14 years old. And some of you who have been coming through here on a watch party may have no idea what an Oracle is. So I like to let people know that so they know what to expect. And if you haven't watched the show before, you definitely don't know what to expect. It's an interview show that's completely different probably than anything else you've ever seen before. And the reason I've created Oracle Live TV is so that I can help highlight individuals and entrepreneurs, leaders who are really doing something different in the world, who are trying to make a bigger impact and a positive impact on the world at large. And with this, they are delivering either products or services that are basically mission or purpose driven, right? So the reason I decided to create Oracle Live TV was because it's part of my mission. As a woman who grew up having a gift and understanding that I had something to offer people that would help them to feel more aligned, clearer about their purpose, and oftentimes, honestly, just to give them the opportunity to get a little more clarity about what their next steps might be so that they could actually perform, right? Function in a way that brought them closer to what they were meant to be delivering here on the planet. And if you've been watching my Facebook for a little while now, or the last few weeks anyway, you might have noticed that I've been using a particular number and been highlighting this because I think it's important to remember. There is a 1 in 400 quadrillion chance of you being born. And if we think about that and we think about that number, it's really clear that we are here on purpose, which of course is my mantra. And it's why I am the Oracle on Purpose. What I discovered as I got older and over the last probably 5 to 8 years in particular, is that the Oracle's divine guidance is so keen on helping people who are on a mission to move past any blocks to delivering that mission, right? So the beauty of that is that with that, we are able to really help people, the Oracle and I, make good on that promise. So I like this show because we get to highlight people that are doing really interesting things. And you've probably seen over the last, I think we're close to almost 25 shows, which is really exciting in this year. And all these different guests that we've had probably over 50 guests, I would say, altogether. And what I've noticed is that when they come on the show, there's such a passion for what they're doing that it's infectious. And on the other side, the insights that they receive often are for the people who are watching, clients and audience members who show up to hear not only what the Oracle has to say, but what the clients and the guests that come on the show have to say. So I know there's always something in it for the people that show up. So if you're watching us right now, let me tell you, chances are something's going to happen tonight that is designed to help you move forward too. So with that in mind, as you're watching the show, if something really does kind of inspire you, or you feel like you get an aha moment, or you yourself want to chime in on something we're talking about, I really want you to do that. This is definitely participatory, right? So don't feel left out. Join into the conversation, share your own insights as we go through this. And if you do, what we're going to do is we'll be giving away a prize. And so tonight, I'm going to give away a special prize. And that is a copy of my book, which I'm realizing is May. Oh, there it is. I'm going to give a copy of my book, which I think is fun for people. There we go. It's like Hard with the Light, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cover up my face. Power Up the Law of Attraction. And it's a great coffee table book, I call it. You know, you can set it on your desk. You can open it up think of it like having an affirmation deck in book form. Okay. So I want to give that away tonight. So if you would like to have a copy of the book, then you could join us tonight by typing the word insight. So it's going to look like this, just so it's clear. Let's see if we can show it. There you go. All right. So hashtag insight for anything that comes up tonight that feels like, oh, an aha for you. And then at the end of the night, we'll pull somebody's name just at random. So lots of opportunities to get engaged. The other way to get engaged tonight is if you have a question yourself. So right now, our guest is having a little technical difficulty because that is modern technology. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit. Oh, I think she's coming on really quickly here. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit with her. And then what I wanted to say was that during this process, if you have a question, right, for yourself, if you have a question, or even if you have a question for the guest, that's great too. You can just put Q&A and then whatever your question is after that in the comments, and we'll go back through these at the end. So we'll have plenty of time probably tonight, I think. Anyway, we'll always try and give a little bit of time so that you can ask your questions too. So if you're watching this in a watch party, come on over, don't be shy, and share your insights, ask your questions. Share comments to the guest tonight, and make sure that you're here, right? Participating, so that we can have this really great, juicy place to share these ideas and really to share what this amazing guest is up to next, so that you guys can benefit from it, so that we can get the message out. Feel free to, let people know out there what we're doing. The link again is in the comments here. So if you're watching from Watch Party, you can share that if you want. But whatever it is tonight, just sit back and enjoy. Know that the reason you're here is on purpose, and that the person we're bringing on tonight is here to share what she's up to, but also to kind of give more of herself to the world and what she's doing. And I'm here to help her make sure that that's happening. So what you're going to see tonight might, again, be a little different than other interviews you've seen. So please just enjoy yourself, participate, share your questions, share your insights, and we're going to have a really great night. And last but not least, if you'd like to be a guest, or you know someone who'd be a wonderful guest on the show, feel free to send them our way, or they could go to this little link right here. So if somebody wants to be a guest, they just go to that link, fill out the application, and we'll get right back to them. Okay. All right. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and share with you my first guest tonight, who is, interestingly enough, sideways on her camera. So let me have her fix that first. So we have her, right side up. There we go. Perfect. All right. So tonight's guest is an amazing woman, healer, energetic, spiritual powerhouse, and advocate for love. I love the fact that she raised her hand right away to come out and share what she's up to. So without too much further ado, I want to introduce you to a woman who I met recently, who I feel like anyone who gets in a room with her is going to be drawn in to her energy, because she is so passionate about what she's up to. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Miss April Brasswell. All right. So April, when you come on, I really would just love for you to share with us. Yay, welcome. Share with us more about who you are, like all the magical stuff. I didn't mention before I got you on the screen, but I love the fact that you are America's midlife. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So tell me a little bit more about that. I love America. I mean, let's talk about that, right? Like that's a really, sorry, I didn't even finish my sentence.
That's okay.
Tell us about yourself. I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I've been talking enough. Come on over and share what you're doing and what you're passionate about right now.
Thank you. Leah, thank you so much for having me on, and all the joys of technology challenges. Folks, you have to know, we tried to connect by my laptop, and there were technology issues, and I am that kind of person where I was like, by God, one, I have backup. Two, by God, I'm going to show up. So while my laptop had to reboot a second time, I was like, start moving it on my phone. That's my backup. So thank you for having me on. It was such a joy to meet you back in September. It was just, it's just over a month ago. It's like 6 weeks ago. I'm like, felt like 2 weeks ago, maybe. I am blessed to be recognized as America's midlife dating coach. And thank you. So, in particular, I empower successful women executives and emerging leaders to step into their purpose, power, and profitability in work and in romance. My specialty, where I'm known, is in the dating world from the internet. So I get invited to conferences, singles conferences, women's conferences, and God bless, I'm so grateful to get to do that because I've a purpose, you have a purpose that works, actually is living out my purpose to share that with people. Locally, I do the business, the hypnotherapy, really the life coaching, where those are all sort of terms. It's just, I do coach folks across the country and internationally when they've met me for that. It's in
Yeah.
person, just like you said, God bless, thank you, was my energy communicates that. It's that, at least from the internet, because it sounds like everyone else until they catch our vibe. And I use the phrase color, and I don't mean racially. I'm literally, it's a color vibe, and this is my color vibe. So I wear it often, and people who are I'm aligned with and I'm supposed to be working with respond to that. And I recommend that to women of wear the colors that are your colors. And even if your words, I can't use both hands, I'm doing quotation marks here, so I have to hold the thing, is wear your colors, be yourself, your vibe will speak for you. Even if your words we're always refining our words, even if your words aren't quote unquote perfect, they will be drawn and magnetized to you.
Absolutely. That's such a great tip. And in fact, I feel like that's where we are. Like, I'm like, oh, I want to okay, we've got April, guys, the
That's you, me.
America's midlife dating coach. I'm sure there are people out there. In fact, I put out today as in one of the promos, like, okay, single ladies, come on over.
Exactly.
Don't complain. I brought somebody on. So tell me, like, in your experience as you've been doing this, obviously, and reached a point where you've been recognized as that, you must have like that. What is that? Like number one thing that you have to say over? I mean, I love the color piece, but what is that one piece that you feel helps people to be aligned? Two. She's got two, folks. Okay, go for it. And what is that?
I'm finding the words. It's a two-piece thing. Which is we absolutely have to combine spirit, our spirituality, our religion, however you want to express it. I say God. I will sometimes say spirit. I mean God's spirit. For some people who maybe aren't as religious, I identify as Christian. I work with folks who are not necessarily Christian. This is not about dogma. It's we have to include our spirituality. It's like the missing activating force.
Oh.
I'm fantastic at tactics, strategies. By God, there will be action. I'm not kidding. I have a book. My message in Christian circles is seek ye. I don't quite have like the little thing, but the little blur, but it's the proactive Christian's guide to finding God's intended for you.
Ooh.
Only praying, and God bless, we need to pray. But if we are only praying, oh Lord, I'll just wait here. I'm doing fake Southern accent from my late husband. It's oh Lord, I am just waiting for you'll send me. God, there are the different movements and different sort of favorite phrases. One of the current phrases now, it used to be ladies in waiting. One of them now is waiting for my Boaz. And God bless when you're 18 years old and have that energy and pulchritude, Shazam, really your energy will magnetize your Boaz to you. You barely need to lift a finger. I'm older than that. Most of us are. Because I love the people like we reference Bible. I love referencing the Bible. It's just, I absolutely recommend you must combine action and spirituality. So those are my two.
I love it. And I think that I'm going to mute you because I think we're getting some feedback. So wave at me if you really want to jump in here for a sec. So what I got there too was that I love that you say, like, you're a Christian, but you work with people of all faiths or religious reactions. However, I also think, as you're saying, like we draw into people or into ourselves people that are aligned, right? So even for you as an entrepreneur, because of course other people that are watching this tonight are also entrepreneurs, that we have to be really clear. There has to be a clarity about who we are. And for myself, I know with the spiritual piece, it's always been very clear that I used to say, I don't disbelieve anything except belief is powerful. Like, it's like, if you want to put your label on it, as long as you believe, then I think you're drawing that power. Yeah.
Yes, and I've been to Auschwitz-Birkenau. There is evil in the world. And I know we all know that. Sometimes we don't get specific. So I often, anytime I start a process with a client, I at some point will put in 4 guardian angels or something in the space. I have them there all the time, but I invoke and invite them in. Ask ye have not, because ye ask not. I ask. And then I also absolutely set the boundary of only those who are aligned with his unique life purpose, entities of light and love, so that it absolutely shields and protects against what we don't want. And so we often say, I can connect with anyone. We really mean anyone who is working for good, where there is that connection. I just wanted to add that because sometimes when we are dear light bearers and we're heart centered, we think everyone's going to be lovely, and they may not. They just may not be manifesting and actualizing that currently.
Wow, that's a good insight. So do you think that you find when a person that you're working with is like seeking, do you find that they like open themselves to the point where they are maybe receiving some of that negative energy that they don't intend? Yeah. Okay.
A little.
Okay.
One of my gifts is it is in my body, it's in my whole demeanor. I have a very solid energy.
Mm.
So I have a very good boundaries energy. So sometimes I will attract clients who want assistance with that. My whole goal is to empower. I do not like to, we have our intuitive gifts. I don't, it happens. Just for the most part, I try to ask them questions. And even when I get, we always like get the message. Where I can, I aim to ask questions for them to connect to there.
Mm.
So it is about their learning to set that boundary. I might do a little teaching, give them some tools for doing that, give them some examples, and then kind of my job is often to be a mountaineering guide. We are
Mm.
not taking the hike alone. I am here with you. You can't see, but like we are roped together. I have the pick. We're good because I will not let you fall.
Mm. I like that. I will not let you fall. So the idea that they're on their own journey, obviously, but you're there to support them. So as you've done this work and you look at where you are going or where you are now, what is your mission? Like if you were to say, like I was like, if I were to wave the magic wand, what would you like to see for yourself and your work as you move forward? What's your next big adventure for yourself?
I'm smiling because I wrote it down carefully and left it in.
Well, that's even better. Honestly, I
It
love it because now we
is.
have to dig in here and say, what is it? Yeah, tell me more.
But I wrote the other thing is literally here on a little piece of paper and taped because I keep refining the precise message, and I have it down to one sentence right now. For the other, I'm like,
Okay.
yes, it's down from a paragraph. So it's like we keep refining. So I am doing. I had a health issue. I do not say this often, so this is the first time I'm saying this on Facebook. So I'm putting it out there. I just don't post about it all that often. I was abusing alcohol to the point of where I was, and the phrase I use, I don't say alcoholic It's a label that creates identity, and our unconscious mind actually wants to reinforce identity. I study this. So I'm absolutely clear about my behavior. The phrase I'm actually I'm more comfortable saying I'm addicted than or I'm an addict than I am saying alcoholic. I was addicted with alcohol, so I was literally hospitalized from what it had done to me physically. So it took me a year and a half to come back physically, physical energy. You may vaguely recall when we met that when I was at the conference, I'm the one there with these two giant green juices there every day. Everyone else is doing coffee. I'm doing real energy jet fuel that actually gives me energy. So I'm rebuilding, but I'm not rebuilding from an absolutely burned out barren wasteland. My main website, my name, aprilbrasswell.com, has been around since March 2008. I have 1,000 pages of articles. I have close to 100 videos. Thank you. Close to 100 videos. I am just saying I had something to rebuild from.
Right.
So I am rebuilding. The rebuilding isn't instantaneous, but it's been pretty fast they're still sowing and reaping. It's more like planting. A metaphor I heard the other day was planting sunflower seeds where they sprout and blossom faster than true seedlings. So the space I'm in now is about creating a boot camp for a dating boot camp for women.
Oh,
My
wow.
my specialty is around with women. Like John Gray, I always work also with men because I am absolutely win-win. I get men, I appreciate them. That's kind of my message with them, is that I appreciate them. And with women, it is I am here to support you. I am your sister. I am a guide. And so even though I say the boot camp is for women, in all likelihood, there will be 3 men.
Very specific.
It always happens. And because they get my
Are
intention.
they the 3 wise men, though?
Something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You'll be safe because I will set really good boundaries with them even before too. I'm like, you have to behave like this and not like that. But that's my big thing that's coming up, and I'm aiming for that to be around the end of February of 2020. Here in Newport Beach in Orange, California. I do not have the precise date because I have to check with the hotel, but I'm like, we're having that little conversation. The pieces beforehand is what just shifted. And you and I know about being in flow.
Yes.
I'm type A. I joke about being type A and holistic. So it was absolutely going to happen that I was going to be doing a dating workshop here that was going to be free for a local women's group who I'm part of. And I was happy to bless them with that. We were aiming for November. It is
Okay.
not going to be November. It is going to be that third Saturday. I think it's the 16th. The third 16th, 17th, 18th, the third
November.
Saturday in
Oh,
January
January. Okay.
2020. Yes, it shifted. So I'm flexible. And so I'm like, okay, if that's the case, there has to be some buffer time in between that and my intermediary thing between the live here and then pardon me that workshop, which is smaller, and then the dating boot camp is I will be doing a 4-week. It's going to be via video where it's a piece in between, so people who are not here in Orange County, who are not part of that organization, I'm not sure yet if it can be open to the public, so I need to do something for others. I'll be doing that here via Facebook in January, and people can connect there as well.
Great. So tell me more about the why of the boot camp. What are we when they walk away from the boot camp, what are they walking away with? What is their big win? Because you were saying you're very much about the win-win, which I love. So what is the win-win for them in a boot camp setting?
Yes. It's most of us will get it just kind of intellectually. With being live and doing it over, basically, it's going to be a Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime. You may have to fly back. Is so like probably around like 4 or 5 o'clock. is they will actually get to come in and do things experientially.
Mm.
Person, the energy of me, the energy of the group. And I do things by web, and it is absolutely lovely, and it is amazing what is possible over the internet and using digital, and the difference of being live in the same room, both with me and the energy of the others who want this also. The phrase I use is that I'm helping people, empowering people to attract their soul essence love.
Mm.
So
That's really sweet and juicy. So tell me, because I know that as hearing all of this, I see that you have all of these skills, all of this expertise. And if someone were to drop you in a place now, and there's a room full of people, and you don't know who's single, who's not single, what for you, out of curiosity, would be the first step you would take to serve? Like, what is the desire in you when you are in that kind of space? Like, what comes to you? How do you know that you're in the right place? I'm just curious.
I actually know it. We would often say intuitively. I know it spiritually.
Okay.
Because I heard you say I've been watching previous episodes. FYI, folks, she has a channel over at YouTube. You can go catch previous episodes. They're not reruns, they are lives rebroadcasts. So there's another channel where you can catch her videos. I've been watching. One of the metaphors I heard you using was seed, soil, and I can't remember the third word.
Food, soil, plant. Yes, that's
Thank
one of
you.
my favorites. Yeah.
My expression, when I heard that, I was like, God, we are so aligned. Is my expression is I live here in Orange County. We either have clay or we have sand.
Mm.
Must seriously,
Yeah.
we have workshops about preparing the soil, and that is exactly one of my lessons of what we do. So it's before I ever go to any event,
Mm.
tonight repeatedly before. That's why I was determined for we're going to get on, which is whatever technology is. I set an intention. I connect spiritually with the Lord, my higher self. I
Mm.
think of it as transpersonal self for our scientific brain, that I connect there first. I set an intention about the kind of connection I want to have. And I set a number as a goal. I, however, will refine it if, because sometimes I'll start to set too enthusiastic a number. And
Mm.
Spirit will kind of gently lead me with maybe not 7-5. And
Right.
sometimes I'm like, oh, 2 to 3 people. And it's a place I've been to before. And I'll actually get, oh no, it's going to be 5 people, sort of three key, five. So I'm looking around the room, ideally have even been there prayerfully in advance of the event, and sort of sprinkled my essence, my prayer beforehand, and I am looking around the room for that, and it's almost like I don't actually exactly see it. Some people do. I just perceive it. I describe it as discernment, and I would be, if it's more of a business event, I will express what I said about, I might not say executives, I might say successful women, emerging leaders, and purpose, power, profitability in business and romance. And those who are interested in this all sounds like they're not the same. In the unconscious mind, they are all relationships.
That is so true. And I heard you just mention, I'm going to hop in here because I think it's important, which is connection,
Yes.
right? So as entrepreneurs, as people are listening to this, and whether you're coming in here because you're like, oh, girlfriend, I need to talk about like relationships. Great. Even if it's not that, it is still a connection. Like all interaction is connection based.
Yes.
So tell me, like, as an entrepreneur, and I hear what you're saying, like how you're stepping into the room. How do you ensure that your alignment and your connection, how do I want to say this? Your alignment to connect is making the right connection. Like specifically, what do you say? Like, it's that what do you do kind of thing. But what are your tips for people who are out there making connections
Yeah.
to really show up to be connected?
It's the prepare. The soil is essential, because I'm great at the action, and I will tell you actions and tips, and they will fall flat and be tasteless if you are not doing the connection spiritually before you go in. And while you are there, I have literally looked around the room when I'm just about to open my mouth to speak, and I will literally look around the room and say, I love you,
Mm,
to the people who just as I look around the room, and I do,
yeah.
I send them love. And it's just everyone at least will respond and be blessed by that. And then I'm looking, of course, for it's not even so much, I'm looking for it to be mirrored back to me, because we talk about attraction and being magnetic. I talk about it a lot in romance. It is also in business. We are better when we attract and magnetize.
Mm,
So
yes.
and then we are still supposed to take action. And was really good in sales about being the tenacious salesperson. The end of a panel, I was like one of the first three people up there. What was so funny is I had a boss who was super tall. He was this giant, and he would like get me getting up there. I refer to myself as a pit bull with a pink bow. I was already up there and talking to someone on the panel who had expressed some alignment with our company. I would have introduced myself and said hello. And by the time he got up there, who they kind of knew him, he would just be smiling and saying, "This is my salesperson, April." And we would just, so there's still action. It's
Right.
just, so the attraction and the magnetizing, because I have that in my energy, I'm not being passive, just like, oh, I'm waiting for them. It's, I'm expecting it. And there's a law of expectation, which
Right.
both it's spiritual, it's everything. It is also incredibly strong with our brain of what we really expect reinforces itself. And what people expect of us, our family, our loved ones, reinforces that. So I'm going expectantly. I am looking expectantly. And
Mm.
so when I'm talking to people individually, I can tell. It's like, God bless, they're being polite. Thanks. I still give them my card or whatever it is. Oh, thank you. It was nice meeting you. And I'm like, bless you. And then the ones where it's like, it doesn't matter what we're saying. You just know. And we're like, we'll be connecting. We'll be meeting afterwards. Let's definitely exchange cards. And when then we do.
That is a good point too. It's like what is in your mind and your experience, what is the difference between going there with expectancy and going there needy?
Oh, I actually rarely have had needy personally, so I can't speak to that quite as well, other than I've seen it.
So
So
so from that perspective, what does it do when you see it?
they do not realize they are burning. You're not just not getting it now, you're mildly singeing your playing field.
Ooh, okay.
it it's not just, oh, I didn't get them today. You don't realize people remember, especially if it's in a community of any kind, is they remember and will say something sort of to each other. I'm not naming names, I'm not saying where. I had something where there's someone I'm kind of partnering with for something eventually. We're sort of planning to, like, we're very aligned, and that person was a little too salesy, a little too eager with
Mm-hmm.
their energy, and they said too much. And we all
Right.
do that sometimes. It's not a problem when your energy is right, because it's like what I said at the beginning about like technology problems. We just laugh about it. It's like, hello, things do happen. And when the alignment and the intention is there, people are forbearing. And it's not that they will it's we're gonna I do a whole talk that's a little more businessy about influence impact, in those first 3 to 8 seconds mattering so much. And it is possible to come back from it. it is possible to repair. It is just, we are not going to just come back to where we were. We have to repair further back because of the singe.
I really love that analogy and I like that visual, right? That we've kind of, it's like you've singed somebody's fingers, right? Yes. Yeah. So if that's the case, and as entrepreneurs we're out here, of course we want to share. Of course we want to share our message, right? Because that's the whole point. Like we're here to give something to the world.
Yes.
And even as people that are out trying to connect with other people from a relationship perspective, we want to share ourselves. We want to share the best of ourselves, right? Like there's like the right foot forward. And you mentioned those first few seconds really being key.
Yeah.
At what point do you think that the guard is down, or quote unquote should be down enough that we could soften? Because I feel like sometimes we can, like the pendulum can swing so far one way or the other, where you're shut down completely, or you're so, like you said, like so far out there, you almost come off as kind of obnoxious.
Right.
At what point, what signs, what signals, what sensations might we be able to recognize that say, oh yeah, we can relax, we can
Yep.
be ourselves more and not have that little bit of veneer that I think we all do
Right.
when we first have our statement. Yeah.
Right. There are two scenarios, and they are actually, in this case, different.
Okay.
Business and romance. So, in a business setting, when we are at a group where, so for example, I recently launched the Newport Beach chapter of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. So when people come there, and I'm the leader and I am the representative for it, so it is like, it is up to me. So I can, because if they're showing up, they literally had to buy a ticket, they had to plan to be there, they had to park and get there. I already really know they're aligned. On some level, at least, they are aligned. Whether I will be directly doing business with them or not, I would want them in general as part of the community. So there's a certain openness I will really have with them almost from the start. I am still going to, you can't quite see it, and because I just, well, my glasses, I can't even see it now. But I put on eyeshadow tonight. I have mascara on. I'm Irish. We have no eyebrows. I did my eyebrows.
Hey, I'm Irish and I have eyebrows.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
You're Black Irish.
I am.
I was to say, I joke about that. I'm like, I can so, and like it's so, and that's the, okay. Pause there for a second. I'm white, ethnically within my family. My late husband was white, part Native American, far enough back that I can't name the tribe. My cousins are Amerasian. One of my aunties is Asian. One of my aunties is African American. One, mi cuñada, my sister-in-law, is Latina. I am Christian. My fiance life partner is Jewish. The little joke I make is the only thing we don't have somehow represented, who's on a large scale, is Middle Eastern. And my quick retort then is, my middle sister isn't married yet, so who knows?
Still time. Still time.
Exactly. So
still time to be international. I
right.
love it.
So it's okay. Anyway, the point is, okay, fun. The point I was making is, I show up both for business and in a date with, I've put on makeup.
Right.
There's a different degree of how much makeup, how glamorous I'm going, not glamorous, how polished I'm aiming to look. The phrase I often use for myself is elegant and alluring. And alluring, I'm probably actually showing a little more. I usually have this sort of tank bra thing I wear, which covers me to here, which I often use in business to have an appropriate neckline because I have assets. So I've made a good look. When I get there in business, I'm looking polished, and I really should be looking pretty great for the room because I'm the president. So I'm very open and trusting there. In romance, it's me. I already have in my being, that's what I was saying earlier, I've done a lot of work with this. I recommend actually stronger parameters for women if you're just starting and getting back out into dating
Oh,
again.
okay.
So, ladies, my website, aprilbrasswell.com
Yes, we'll do that. Yeah, we're gonna put that up. Don't worry, we've got it right here. Okay.
backslash. Just subscribe to it, email, and then reply with what were your tips for starting again, and I'll send you the link for that one, because I actually recommend safety habits for keeping
Okay.
for dating. And it's kind of similar with going to a business event. If you've never been to that area before and maybe it's in the evening, get there early, know the parking situation, don't walk in the dark unescorted. I am not ashamed to ask for someone to walk me back to my car who I'm acquainted with, or to ask the security guard at the venue to escort me, a man or a woman, and pretty much I will get escorted. It's just safety behaviors. I have lived in cities.
Yes. Yes. And as you're talking about this right now, I'm curious for you, as you got this big event coming. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
mute you again for a sec. You've got a big event coming. You are doing this smaller kind of pre-event with the people. And as you're developing your own business from an entrepreneur's perspective, what do you find right now is your biggest challenge to up leveling, moving, growing your business? And hold on, I'm going to unmute you. There we go.
I have to rebuild connections. So I literally lost my whole email list, all the names, all of it, while I was in the hospital for 2 months. Because God bless, while you're in a room at the hospital, and I was in 3 different places, the connectivity in the rooms is not great. So I had no way to renew it. And whatever the time frame was for renewing and to still save your data, gone. So
Mm,
it's what's cool is I already have some relationship established. And I was just talking about this with some other women earlier today, where we're kind of peers and likely sort of JV, we're referral partners, JV sort of partner people. And I was trying to describe this idea of starting with my node of influence. Where are the relationships, the associations I already have an in with,
mm,
where they pretty much trust me. I still need to show up and be appropriate. That's next level. It's just, they're like, sure, we would have you in. So I'm doing that. And I have a couple of different places I would recommend to any woman who's starting or is aiming to do next level, is to literally, wherever you are, even if you are planning to move in next quarter, it is not too soon to start. It's just because if you're leaving or anything, start networking where you are. If you have an alumni connection, I'm an alumna of Smith College. We are kind of small here in Orange County, but I'm like, hey, I'm connecting. I'll ask. It's like anything we do. It's just, I'm not trying to over pitch them yet. It's just connect first, establish that connection. If you have, I have a one gal where she was formerly in like Elks or Moose or one of these things. Is any of those relationships, of even if it's a bit fallow, back to our planting and harvesting, it's a
yeah.
fallow cropped, is that field has been formally prepared, plow things under, and reapproach with, maybe there were 100 women you kind of knew before, and really, like, maybe they're gone and they're
Mm,
really 10. Connect with those 10, meet them in person. I aim for local first, I really aim to do one-on-one with them in person, because I can right now. And I prefer that. I can do phone kind of as a secondary touch, or we can phone to set things up, but in person is stronger. And you will often hear to do public speaking, and that's great. It can often take a little while to get to where you can do that. Go with the attention, go networking, go to be of value and not get. get. Uh, I often just, it's lust and getting. That's gimme.
Mm-hmm.
Observe, go and listen for where the others listen for joint venturing possibilities. Ask them where you can, not so much where you can help them, ask them about their ideal prospects. Where do you recognize them? Because a lot of us, when we're starting out, God bless, they say it, we don't get it.
Great. Yeah, those are great tips. And so speaking of serving, how can the Oracle help you? Did you come with a question tonight that you'd like to ask the Oracle? And if so, you write it down. Awesome. Perfect. So what do you want me as the Oracle to help divine guides share for you? Two things. Okay. Well, we're kind of wrapping it up. So let's start there. So what's your first question?
One is for me. One is for me for Jordan.
Okay.
My fiance. So it's agreed.
All right.
It's service. So the first one is for me around, there are a number of things I'm setting up for, really sort of, I'm thinking it mentally as Q1 and Q2, sort of like the next sort of 6 to 9 months or so of 2020. There's already what I'm working on and have started in place I'm aware of. Are there any additional things, not things, strategies or programs I should be putting in place that I'm not seeing, that I'm not thinking of, because my vision is here and yours is here?
Right. So there's a follow-up question, and those of you who watched this before, just for clarifying, it's the thing I'm hearing in the question, just to make sure I'm like holding space for the right question, is that you're on your behalf, things that you then can participate or create to move closer to those goals in first quarter-ish? No. Okay, clarify.
It's more because it's the sowing seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Seeds that I should be sowing that I don't see.
Okay.
For sort of 6 months and later for 2020. I kind of have the first quarter and 2 quarters roughly. I have that perspective. Are there other things I am not seeing that you would suggest that I add for later? Or this,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing that's showing up, it feels structural. And what I see is, so I'm going to say what I see, and then I'm going to say what I think I see, which is I see tracks and scaffolding. So that feels structural to me, but it also doesn't feel like, it feels like foundation, like creating foundational pieces to support growth.
Mhm.
And so there are three factors to that I'm seeing. One right now for you is personnel,
Yes.
team. Two is there's something about it's not really collaboration. It feels more like a distillation. It's like, I don't know if it's like clarifying or it's like bringing something together. Do you have like two different websites or two different?
Oh, I have multiple.
Right. Okay. So you're showing me like these things will have to kind of like hone in, clarify, distill. There's some sort of, like, the word I was looking, like, it's distillation. So it's like cleaning, clearing, narrowing somehow into one focus is the other. And then last is the last one of this piece of scaffolding, the structure is okay, I'm just going to say a vacation. Like time. Okay. So I'm like, I'm trying to find another like fancier word for it, but it's like, no, it's like a break, vacation, but she kept saying vacation. So making sure that that's on the book. Yeah. So that's what
Thank
I,
you.
yeah. Is that
It's
helpful?
planned.
Okay. Good.
That's
Yeah.
Thailand. Thailand, roughly December.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get.
I can
I
learn to understand you too, Siri.
no idea what just hit. I'm there. We go. I'm just
We're
closing.
good.
So that's really. I'm like, I don't know what program just opened on my computer. I was like, stop it. So thank you. I
Yeah.
actually about personnel. It has been on my radar screen to be. I have my sister is fantastic at this. She's a goddess. I'm not kidding. She's like number 3 in eBay in the country and has been doing that. I asked her for some structure, like where to find this, what to do.
Mhm.
That's going to be segueing in November
Okay.
and a few other sort of things. And the so that was uh, so that was the personnel. There's some structure things that I get that I'm sorry, it's the websites. It's for Google. It's because of Google and how Google does things. So
Right.
the my
I don't know that I want to make sure that it's not, I'm not seeing like there's just one website. It's like there's just one through line message though.
there is
Yeah.
there
Okay.
is now.
Okay. So I mean, it's that, so these are the three things to build for the future that have to be like solid. I think that's the reason it's showing like scaffolding, like they're the backbone.
Yes.
So
I
if
get
those are solid, you're good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I want to share my vision mission
Okay,
because
great.
this is where you and I aligned. And it is that I empower people to move through their personal walls, to learn their life lessons, to create intimacy in their relationships, which makes the world safer for children and animals.
Mm,
And that is my litmus test. I haven't quite articulated my big why in a meaningful way because I've been taught to keep it a bit ratcheted back. And that's my next thing is to be expressing that. It's I grew up in what was a physically violent and emotionally abusive home. I say this without blame of because the paradigm of perpetrator and victim is a whole thing for all of us. It is not blaming my late father. He was also caught, I say that with compassion, like a bodhisattva, of that he was caught in that and was in great pain himself too. It's just that is my why for healing relationships and giving skills for learning those lessons to adults so it makes it safer for kids and small animals so that we can then transmit that to kids. But if
mhm.
we don't get it, the kids are lost.
I love that.
That's my why.
Well, that is a beautiful why indeed. And yes, we definitely are aligned in like having people be here on purpose and recognize the beauty of their gift of being at all. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So we have just another minute or two here, and you said um, you wanted to ask another question, and we have time. And I
Thank you.
don't see. Actually, before I do that, I should double check our little host chat log here. Make sure. Okay, so we don't have anybody else asking questions tonight. So apparently, divine timing as it is. So, just really quickly, as if you're listening to this and you did actually put a question in, please note that both April and I will check the logs because I know that sometimes when they're not inside the watch party, they show up on the Facebook pages. So I will go back and I will make sure that April goes back as well to answer any questions. So just know that will happen.
Right.
But I do want to go ahead and give you some time to finish this last question and then we'll close it out for tonight. So what's the question you had for Jordan, you said?
It is for my life partner, my fiance, where He is one of his gifts. He wrote the book, the first one on the solo acting field. So it is literally referred to as a handbook, and I want to support him. I have the marketing and sort of seminar event creating ability to create that into a weekend-ish kind of a live experience. And where the missing, what advice would the oracle give me with my supporting him best with doing that with him, so he can share his really greatest fulfilling gifts in the world and feel that satisfaction.
So first, of course, which feels like an obvious, which always I love. First, just love who he is, and not who he's becoming, is the first thing. And there is a place in this, I think, that ties to, which is you have all of this expertise, and there's a caution. I get the yellow sign of caution, which is for you to wait to be asked.
Okay.
So there's
sort of did before. He sort of did a few years ago before I was so sick.
Okay. So So what I was going to say was there's the and this is great because I think this goes for everybody. So I love when these questions I can tell they're like generally speaking. So generally speaking, the thing that she's showing me is that I love when the universe sends its horns honking. Okay. That it's a dance of energies.
Yes.
And there's a moment when two magnets are being magnetized, and if they just slip too far, they split apart. You know what I'm talking about? She's showing it to me, so I was like trying to describe it. Like you're putting them together, and finally they flip. So it's this thing where, in many people's lives, when they have so much love and belief in someone else, that all they want to do is give everything they have to help them. And so
let's tell.
We can, I don't want to say we can want it more than they do, but we can want it before they do. Right. And so this is like, there's a dance happening here where it's like, stay open to it, stay communicative, and let it go. Like, and there's, yeah.
Because otherwise I'm doing activity without his fulfillment, which would be empty.
Right. And it's also like one of those things where, did you say you were a mom? No. Okay.
I wasn't
able. So have you ever been around a mom and a kid, and the kid's like trying to tie their shoes, and the mom is like, I could just do this and it would be so much faster. And the goal is to tie the shoe. So it seems reasonable to just jump in and do the tying of the shoe, and it robs both people.
Yes.
And that's kind of the space that you're in, that she's showing me right now, which is it's in that dancey space where if you, it's not even offer, it's simply saying, and this again is for everybody who's in a situation like this. It's simply trusting and having faith that who you are, what you have to offer is so clear that if they want that help, they will come to you. And when they do, here's the kicker for everyone. It's not a time to tell you, say, I told you so. And that's a tough one because you know, like there's, and it's not even always the I told you so. Sometimes it's the finally, right? There's like those kind of like, and even if you're not saying it, if there's that energy around it. So really what she's saying is know that you know what you know, like it can be helpful. And as long as you're clear that the other person knows what you know,
Yeah.
then trust that you just remain open to share. Which be like, and this is more energetics for anybody who's listening kind of on a more metaphysical level. Just be open to share your resources and then let it go. And as soon as they are able to or reach out, then you meet them at the halfway. It's not another reason to jump in and go, great, let's go. And you just take off with it. So this is like what she's showing me. Is like, this is like that moment where you want the magnets to meet, but you don't want them to bounce off and repel each other. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Can I refine?
Sure.
From me, it's a very, this is another level of our relationship. When we were first dating, I don't think I'm sharing, and I'm very protective of my partners and my love, and I believe my partner is masculine in public. This is not, I think is a kingfisher wound for men. And my late husband had his own. I'm not being anything specific. Jordan had a bit of his own with, as most men do who are divorced. There's something of their masculine being loved for coming back, as women have ours with, maybe I'm not a little bit, we have our feeling, it's a deeper spiritual thing. And so he was delighted to renew hope for a love like this. And I feel like that now at that same energy metaphor for his life purpose work of fulfillment with it. And fulfillment with it is going to entail partnering, and in many ways with me spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate the metaphors you gave. I get that and I'm clear.
Good.
And so I have that. It's a feminine for women. I'm going to share this for everyone, both in terms of romance and business, because it's something's there from our feminine, of men in the current age, they either alpha or beta, may have some kind of a kingfisher wound over the age of 40, certainly over 50. There's usually something there with being wounded at their core as a man. And a little of that, you're not to be his mom, but in that feminine, it's a little bit from sex. It's not only sex, it's just that full feminine energy of partnership, unity, is they need to see it in our eyes, is my metaphor. It's in our demeanor. Our seeing him as the wonderful man he is. It isn't about potential, it's actually who he is now.
Right.
And reflecting that to him in a way where he will be ever so softly healed.
Wonderful. Well, we are at time and we're actually a little bit over, but I know we kind of had some tech difficulties there. So I want to honor our time and honor our viewers' time. Thank you so much, April, for being here, for sticking with us during this process of the technology piece. And if you guys want to know more about April and want to connect and find out all the great things that she's doing, I did put into the into the comments her link. So you can go in there, you can get her link. Let me go ahead and put it back up here on the screen, just in case anybody has any questions. It's right there. Thank you so much, April. I appreciate you being here so much. Yes.
Thank you. The best one is aprilbrasswell.com/ gifts.
Okay.
I think it's either, I think it's S, and if it's not, then it's singular / So it's / gifts /
Okay, so I tell you what, I'm gonna put gifts, and then if it's not, I encourage you, April, to hop on to the links in the comments and go ahead and make that change. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody. I'm gonna let April go now. I really appreciate all of you watching us tonight. Again, there you go. April's link is here below us and also in the comments. So thank you all for watching. I'm excited to have the week to see you next week, and I will see you again on Wednesday at 6 o'clock for Oracle Live TV. Again, I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now. All right, stream is stopped. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. We got it done. That's all that matters. Right? We can do it. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.